I have had several of you ask, many of you ask about how to use the Daily Market Worksheet. Well, guess what we have? We have filled out a Daily Market Worksheet for you. I'm going to take you through the charts and show you how and why we filled the worksheet out as we did. This is critical to your success. If you want to spend 10 minutes with us every day, you need to have this worksheet in front of you. And as we go through each of the 4 charts, you need to fill it out, and then after we actually cover everything on the broadcast, go back, think about it a little more, fill a little more in, play around with it in your head. I am telling you, if you want to progress rapidly in learning how to read charts, you really need to put pen to paper. There is something magical about writing things down and just that brain to hand movement. It is so critical in helping you figure it out. Let's just jump right in, and I'll go through a few of these and show you why I wrote down what I did. First, we're going to go to the chart. We'll go to the 2-day chart and show you why I wrote what I wrote. IYY, of course, is the first chart that we always go to. It is the iShares Dow Jones US iShares Dow Jones US Total Market Index Fund. It tracks the entire stock market. Currently, I have down arrows for the weekly movement. Why? Because on the weekly chart, it is currently trending down. We had a crossover going down on the MACD, and the derivative oscillator is currently down. So we have 2 down arrows. Now, if we look at the 2-day chart, we also have down arrows there. It crossed over way back on the 24th of August going down, so we have down arrows there. The 4-hour chart is a little bit different. The 4-hour chart actually just crossed over going up. So we marked the MACD is crossing over going up. The derivative oscillator, the DO, derivative oscillator, is still going down. So we made sure to mark that down. Now, we have other sections in here: comments, trend line, candlesticks, and actions. Here's what I noted as the comments on IYY, the total market. MACD just crossed going up on the 4-hour chart. That just happened on the 4-hour chart. Important to know that's what's going on. Could be seen as a potential pullback. Think about it. If the 2-day chart is currently in a confirmed downtrend and the 4-hour chart moves over going up, that is what we call a pullback. What do we want to see happen on this chart? Well, after it pulls back, if it rotates back over going down, even better. What's interesting in there's still so much down energy on the derivative oscillator. How long will this up movement take place? Again, questionable. And we also noted that for the day, the total market was up 0.6%. Now, when we look at the candlesticks, we have a spinning top on our 2-day chart. What does a spinning top mean? Indecision. So we want to make sure we note important things. Trend line. There's no new trend line yet. Why? Because we can't draw a trend line. We have one that was broken all the way back on the 21st of September, but we've not been able to draw a new blue 2-day trend line. Why is that? Well, because we don't have anything to attach it to. We only have one red down candle, and that was on the 27th after we had it breached back after the 2 down candles on the 9th and then the 13th. So we've not been able to draw a new trend line yet. Actions. What are we waiting? Well, we're waiting to see if the market will go up or retrace the down movement. Currently in a down movement on the weekly and on the 2-day. We have that on our charts. And we have a little schizophrenia going on our 4-hour chart. So if it rotates back over going down, we want to find an entry point and get into an inverse down play. Okay? Does that make sense? It ought to. What's brilliant about having all this written down here is it really makes you think about it. It makes you think about it and put it down on paper. And I'm telling you again, my friends, there's nothing better. Any school teacher will tell you there's something wonderful about having to think about stuff and write it down. Okay? It's going to make the lesson sink in so much more. Now we're going to go to the S&P 500, SPY. What do we see going on there? Well, again, we're currently in a confirmed down move on the MACD and the derivative oscillator on the weekly chart. We're also the same. We're looking at the 2-day chart now. It's also down on both the derivative oscillator and the MACD, crossed over going down all the way back on the 24th of August. What's going on the 4-hour chart? Let's check that out. 4-hour chart is actually up. It's been going up since the 20th, okay? So we have a confirmed up move on the 4-hour chart on both the derivative oscillator and the MACD. So we've marked that. You can look at a glance and see what's going on. What does that automatically tell you? You have a backup underway. If the 2-day chart continues down, the MACD is backing up. You're waiting for it to cross over going down so you can get an entry point in an inverse play on the S&P 500. Comments. 2 days of up, that arrow, it's just my abbreviation, 2 days of up movement on the 4-hour chart. Will it rotate over for a down play? Don't know. It's up strong right now, but will it? It was up 0.5% for today. Candlesticks. What's going on? Now, when I write about candlesticks, I'm usually writing about, you don't have to do it this way, but I'm usually writing about the 2-day candlestick. What's going on there? I've got green open box with wicks. It has wicks on both ends. Again, it is an uptrend, but it's not the strongest of uptrends because you've got some down movement there. Your strong up candles, of course, with our Heiken Ashi candlesticks, are where you have no downtrend, just up movement. So again, we'll continue to watch that. It's important to note. Trend line, weekly trend penetrated up. What does that mean? Well, we have our weekly trend line drawn and the market closed above that. That can be significant. So we'll just continue to watch that. Don't forget, it's just the first day of a 2-day candle. We'll see how that candle finally closes at the close of the market on Thursday, the 29th of September. And what are our actions? See if the 4-hour moves over for a down play. Otherwise, look for the 2-day to cross on the MACD going up, which it might do at some point. So we'll continue to watch on that. Now, I'll go through the Qs also. Might move just a little bit quicker here, but what we have going on the Qs is the MACD and the derivative oscillator on the weekly are in a confirmed up move. Now, the reason I sort of changed my arrows, they're not going straight down, because if you look at the 2-day chart, what's happening with the MACD and the derivative oscillator? The MACD is getting very close to crossing over, potentially going up, and the derivative oscillator's gotten very small. So I'm just giving myself a heads up by not drawing my arrows completely down that they might be rotating around to go up. They haven't done that yet, but I'm just watching. Now let's look at what's going on the 4-hour chart. Well, the 4-hour chart is actually, it crossed over going up back in the afternoon on the 27th of September. So I've noted both. I've noted that the MACD is going up. I've noted that the derivative oscillator has not yet crossed over, and that's interesting. Crossed over, okay, it's been 3 now. It's been 3 candles, and we haven't seen the MACD rotate over. That's making me wonder, how strong is that up move? So we'll pay attention to the 4-hour chart. Again, if it rotates back over, we can jump in. Comments. Derivative oscillator still negative on the 4-hour chart, even though the MACD's moved over. Watch for rotation, and it was up, the chart, the Qs was up 0.17% for the day. What do my candlesticks say? Well, again, like I said, my candlesticks, I'm usually commenting on the 2-day. What do I have? Green open box 2-day candle. Don't have a down wick there, so that's some pretty strong up movement for the first day of that 2-day candle. Trend line cannot redraw until cross on MACD. So we can't redraw that trend line. We still are in the negative but the trend's going up. Well, you don't draw trend lines when you're still in a confirmed negative. You have to have that MACD crossover in an up direction to draw an uptrend line. That's just our rule. So pay attention to that. Now, lastly, actions. Getting close to crossover, going up on 2-day MACD. Watch for takeout and possible entry into down move. So again, we'll continue to monitor and watch. But again, that kind of thought process is what doing this worksheet every day does for you. So incredibly helpful. If you're interested in making quick, steady progress on learning to read these stock charts. And again, why? Because if you can read a stock chart, my friends, you have a printing press for wealth. You really do. You can forecast the future. If you can do that and you can do it accurately day in and day out, you are going to have everything you've ever wanted when it comes to material wealth, okay? Important to practice. Now, lastly, we're going to go to gold. And gold is down on the weekly, down on the 2-day, down on the 4-hour on both the MACD and the derivative oscillator. If we look at the comments that we have made on gold, 4-hour crossed over down this AM. Let's focus in on that. The 4-hour did cross over in the morning on the 28th going down. That was your entry point. Why? Because we were already in a confirmed down move on the 2-day and the weekly. So we had our pullback starting on the 21st of September, and when that pullback ended, that was your jumping in point for a down move in gold. And again, for those of you who don't know how to make money when something goes down, you need to understand what an inverse exchange-traded fund is. There are inverse funds for all of these indexes that we look at, including gold. You would get into an inverse gold fund. It goes up when gold goes down. So we noted that we did have an entry point in the morning, paralleling the 2-day down move. Gold was down 0.32% for the day. What about our candlesticks? And again, we'll go back to our 2-day chart. We have a solid red down candlestick. No up wick, and a wick below moving down. That is a good solid down move on the first day of that 2-day candlestick. Trend line, redrew the trend line down today. And we did. We redrew that trend line based upon the fact that it was already crossed over going down, and we couldn't redraw it until now because we've just had 2 candles moving down. So we redrew that trend line. Actions, down play started this morning, AM, will cross over going down on 4-hour chart, paralleling down move on 2-day chart. That's what your daily worksheet does for you. If you'll spend a little bit of time learning how to do this, practicing this as you listen to our broadcast every day, I'm telling you, my friends, you will be amazed at your thought process and your progression in learning to read these stock charts. Let us hear from you. We appreciate you being with us. Always, we're glad to have your comments. If you want to help us out, go subscribe to our podcast. Also, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And let us know what you think. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Say something nice about us. Thank you so much. God bless. Take care. Stick with it. Stick with it. Stick with it. Those who persevere will succeed, my friends. God bless. From chartingwealth.com, we're out.